Hi there, it's Phil again with yet another Napoleon Hill story. This time from the chapter on desire. The subtitle of the chapter is "A Pretty After-Dinner Speech for $1 Billion." And this is a wonderful story, and a very powerful story actually, that tells how U.S. Steel Corporation was formed. Charles Schwab, who was located in Pittsburgh at the beginning of the 20th century, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, worked with Andrew Carnegie, at that time the richest man in the world, who was a steel magnate. And Schwab was invited to a dinner in New York City, attended by about 80 millionaires. And he, being the guest speaker, he was cautioned by J.P. Morgan to limit his speech to no more than 20 minutes because at that point the millionaires would probably get tired and or restless. So he started to speak and actually presented a vision. And actually, in this vision, gave Morgan an umbrella over which he could incorporate Andrew Carnegie's business into his own and create a huge trust. And the speech went on for actually an hour and a half. And then afterwards, Morgan and Schwab spoke for yet another hour. And in the course of this, Schwab had laid out an issue of, as I mentioned, the umbrella, but this was the issue of combination. In other words, how was he going to incorporate Andrew Carnegie's company in with his and create one company? And so Schwab's vision entailed the future of the steel business. It entailed a reorganization suggestion for efficiency, and he also suggested that the steel manufacturers lower their prices to enable more expansion into the world markets. So with this great grand vision that Schwab had in mind, the next step was to convince Andrew Carnegie that it was worth his while to sell and then retire. And eventually they wound up and agreed with a buying price of $400 million. And thus was born U.S. Steel Corporation. Now, in the chapter on faith, Hill describes what happened this way. This dramatic story of big business was included in this book because it is a perfect illustration of the method by which desire can be transmuted into its physical equivalent. I imagine some readers still question the statement that a mere intangible desire can be converted into its physical equivalent. Doubtless some will say, you cannot convert nothing into something. The answer is in the story of United States Steel. That giant organization was created in the mind of one man. The plan by which the organization was provided with the steel mills that gave it financial stability was created in the mind of the same man. His faith, his desire, his imagination, his persistence were the real ingredients that went into U.S. Steel. The steel mills and mechanical equipment acquired by the corporation after it had been brought into legal existence were incidental, but careful analysis will disclose the fact that the appraised value of the properties acquired by the corporation increased in value by an estimated $600 billion by the mere transaction that consolidated them under one management. In other words, Charles M. Schwab's idea, plus the faith with which he conveyed it to the minds of J.P. Morgan and the others, was marketed for a profit of approximately $600 million. Not an insignificant sum for a single idea. So the lesson here is that riches begin in the form of thought. The amount is limited only by the person in whose mind the thought is put into motion. Faith removes limitation. And Hill summarizes the whole chapter by ending with two sentences. There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. And both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. So this is really great stuff. And again, it gets back to what I have called in this collection the primacy of mind, in how everything starts with thought, and that's where the creative process starts, in the imagination, with thought and with an idea. So if this content is something that resonates with you, I'd invite you to join me by clicking down below on the link and lock arms with me and my prosperity team. And there's also some information down below on the daily Think and Grow Rich call, mindset call. That's Monday through Fridays. This is where 400 plus entrepreneurs get together every day. We study works like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and we're actually practitioners of the Hill philosophy. And the second half of the program is dedicated to masterminds, where all the callers can participate. So, as I say, I'd like you to lock arms with me in this endeavor. So with that, keep in mind the chapter which we just read, and I'll see you the next time. Have a good day.